the NCAA, and I hate to come on here and always trash the NCAA, but they recommended that there be just free-for-all in the transfer world in college football. An absolute free-for-all. Because right now you have the one-time transfer rule. Remember, we didn't have that before. If you were transferring up, from FCS to Division I, or you were transferring, laterally, you had to sit a year. If you transferred down, you could play immediately. Well, now they're saying, you know what? You can just transfer wherever, whenever. And I was always a player's coach. I'm always for the players. But at some point, we have to have rules. Because it is going to be impossible to build a culture in a locker room if everybody is just leaving left and right. They come and face adversity for 3 weeks and then they're able to leave. It is the opposite of what you should learn from a team sport like football. We always say football is a great teacher of life because you have got to grow with teammates around you. It does not work if your teammates are not in conjunction with you or everybody isn't swimming in the same way, and that you face adversity and you overcome it. A lot of people get home, not just players, a lot of people that go to college get homesick. Even people going right down the road. I mean, we were talking with David Pollock. He's like, I went 45 minutes down the road and I was still homesick. But if you're allowed the easy way out every time it gets tough, you're never gonna grow. You have to sometimes face failure and look in the eyes and overcome it. Now there's situations, and I'm gonna lay out my perfect transfer portal scenarios, the way it should be built here in a second, but sometimes facing that dragon or facing, whatever is guarding the gate from you getting to where you wanna be makes you better. Adversity reveals character. It shows you. But these kids nowadays being able to say, you know what? Well, I came in, I was a 5-star freshman and all this hoopla about me. And I came in, now I got to earn my job. Now I got to beat out an older guy that's been here for 2 or 3 years. I feel like this could ruin the sport quicker than anything. The on-the-field product's going to be fine, but this is just another absolute stab to the whole point of team sports in general. So when I look at this, here's what I think the perfect transfer portal guidelines should be. If you go to a school, I'm fine with the one-time transfer rule. You can transfer, one time for free outside of being in the same conference. I feel like if you transfer in the same conference, you should have to sit out a year unless the head coach leaves or is fired. I feel like if the head coach leaves or is fired, I don't care if you transfer to the school he gets fired from. I feel like that should give you the opportunity to leave because that's the head man. That's the guy you ultimately went there to play for. I don't care if you went from LSU to Utah and Utah's head coach got fired. I'm fine with that. But the fact that we can let kids go from Alabama to LSU without the head coach being fired, without sitting out a year, to me is that opens up a can of worms that is unbelievably scary. If you want to transfer from UCLA to Ohio State, that one-time transfer rule laterally, I'm fine with that.
Until 2024. Then they're in the same conference.
That's exactly right. Until 2024, and then I'm not fine with it. Unless the head coach gets fired from UCLA. So, to me, this is what I was always afraid of, because this is basically free agency. Now, you could say, all right, well, at least free agents have to wait, for a certain extent. So it's really streamlined.
Exactly.
Free agency. We talk about NIL and people say, pay for play is going to ruin the sport. Well, the market's going to fix itself because that's what markets do, especially free markets. But when it comes to this, the fabric of college sports, the fabric of team sports, if I am a coach, how in the hell am I supposed to build any chemistry in that locker room? How are we supposed to have any transition from the older guys to the younger guys, and the young guys watch these old guys work? The old guys told them, stick with it, when you can just say, you know what? It's so hard now. And at what point you can have freedom, but there also has to be rules. Like I can't go drive 200 miles an hour down the interstate and say, I just have freedom. There's rules. There's a speed limit. So it's not some free-for-all utopian college athletics society. And it just goes to show you, NCAA, just leave. Just disappear. just die? Can we just ignore the NCAA? Can we let the NCAA die the death it deserves in silence? You people are the most corrupt. You held all the money. You held the players hostage. And now you've just totally flipped the script and you're breaking the sports. Can we just please let the NCAA walk the plank, go into the ocean, cannonball tied to your shoes, see you later? Because you people are the worst. I'll look you in the eyes and tell you, you guys are the worst. You are a plague to sports. So to the NCAA, can we please just get rid of them? Just anytime the NCAA, no, doesn't matter. Let's make Greg Sankey the college football commissioner or the commissioner of college sports. Let's follow the rules laid out just like I said, which to me is totally fair. But Cone, the NCAA is the worst thing to happen to sports in a long, long, long time. And I cannot wait to never utter those 4 words together again, or 4 letters together again, because there's some 4-letter words I want to call them, but I can't say on this show.
What does NCAA stand for?
Never cared about anything except themselves.
Right? Yeah.
No, hell no.
Oh, anything.
Not athletes.
You're going above and beyond.
All of it.
They care about money.
Nothing.
This, this transfer portal elimination right now, it's opening it up to be able to transfer whenever you want. It doesn't increase parity. It hurts parity.
It's going to kill parity.
It doesn't instill responsibility in young men or young women. It hurts responsibility. So I don't care if you're the best player on your college team or the worst player. You get frustrated. I don't care if you went to the school that's in your hometown or you went 1,000 miles away from home. You get homesick, to your point. That's why we need the institutions to lay out some ground rules. My frustrations when I was at college was, well, I signed up for a 4-year commitment. Why do you get to renew me every year, right? Or get rid of me after a year or something like that. Yeah. This is what I've been saying is like there's a difference, there's a middle ground between that sort of exploitation that I was frustrated with and at the same time, you can just go anywhere, wherever you want at any time. That's not right, and it's going to hurt college athletics.
They've gone from one spectrum to the other, Blaine. They went from literally hogging all the money and running a monopoly and not letting anybody do anything, to all of a sudden letting anybody do anything they want. Let it burn. It's
they're deliberately trying to poison college football.
You think so?
I think at this point they're just trying to ruin college football.
So that legislation gets involved?
So there has to be something. It has to be something because this is ridiculous. What are you supposed to do? That's what education doesn't matter. Football has turned into a me sport. I couldn't do it because I don't know how you're supposed to be in a guy locker room. How are you supposed to push your teammates?
Yeah.
You know, when they can just say, you know what? No, I don't have to do this. I'll just go here. I'll just do this. How are you supposed to be a captain? How are you supposed to coach a guy? Like, really, how are you supposed to get on a guy? Like, really get on a guy without him just fading away? Just fading away. I couldn't do it. Football, this is just the worst thing that can happen in football. There has to be some, or it's just going to be in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and you're just not going to be able to live with it.
And you know what? And if you don't like it, if you don't like rules, don't play.
Yeah.
Don't play. This isn't China. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. Like, don't play. If you don't like rules, then don't play. Sit out, lift weights, run, wait till you're old enough to get drafted, whatever. Go to University of Phoenix for 3 years. Well, I don't care. Go to the USFL. I'm telling you right now, the USFL, look, and they're starting to celebrate it. Sal Cannella just went for the USFL to the Packers, and the USFL is like, look, guys, look, the USFL's turned into the G League.
Oh, yeah.
And if they're smart, they'll go and start plucking some of these high school kids.
And I'm all for it.
And that's fine. That's fine. But if you don't like the rules, then stay your ass at home. Nobody is forcing you to do anything. So at this point, you know, with the NCAA, I was done with you before, but it's, I think it was Kenny Powers that said, I wish nothing but unhappiness for you. And that's what I do. To me, when I think of the NCAA, I think about the Harry Potter, like, trials when they're looking at it, you know, in like the big gray room, and it's like dark and dense, and you have all these lawyers and stuff sitting there. It's just an absolute cesspool. We got to get these guys out. And if you don't like rules, and if you don't want to make rules, then don't play the sport. Just go and invent your own thing. But it's absolutely disgusting to me.
Hey, if you like that content, go ahead and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, String in a Cup. As long as you're listening, we appreciate you. Go subscribe now. It's Crain&Company.